Hey everybody, I thought I would do a video today on putting in a Super ATV power steering kit into this 2021 Polaris Ranger 570 full size. I've done a few videos on these. Don't think I've ever done one on the power steering. I've put power steering in every one of these 570 full sizes we bought. In fact, every Ranger without power steering I've added a Super ATV power steering kit. Done them for other friends, neighbors, customers of mine. I've never had one of these kits not work. They've always worked out of the box. They've always been straightforward, maybe not simple on some of the older ones, but they're good kits. So to get started, I've already kind of started into this before I thought about doing a video, but you're going to need to remove the lower dash panel, which is this guy. That's your lower dash. There's screws inside the cubby holes. There. There's one behind in the glove box there. And then there's the 4 around the glove box. And then there's the ones here in the dash. There, and right in there. Those 2 holes. So remove all those, pop the cup holders out. That lower dash, you will have to kind of contort it a little bit and pull this end down, and then it will all come out. You'll kind of have to manipulate it a little, but it'll come out. And then there's the 2 wires there for your cigarette lighter that just get shorter by the year as budget cuts at Polaris keep happening. You know, harnesses just keep getting shorter. So get that out of there. Then you'll be able to see everything that's going on in here. I mean, there's our steering shaft right here. Comes up into our column. You can see that. So up here at the wheel, pop this cap off with a flat screwdriver, your pocket knife. Remove the nut. 15/16 socket takes that off. That is red Loctite. So I've had these come right off. I've had them where I've had to take a hammer or a rubber mallet preferably and try to strike it back in here so you don't hurt the column or anything, but just strike it a few times. They'll usually pop off. That guy comes off. Throw him aside. And so here's where you need to pay a little bit of attention. You notice how these are sitting here. There's a rubber washer, steel washer, and then a little steel sleeve. When you take them off, I like to just put them in order of how they came off. Set them there. Set the nut on top so you kind of know how it was going. So then what you'll be able to do, and I've already done it here, but remove the bolt from the lower bolt on the steering column plunger. Looks like this guy. Take him out, and then you're going to need to go, there's 2 bolts that hold the tilt part of the column. You're going to have to hold that 9/16 wrench on there while you get an Allen wrench on the back side over in here. And do that on both sides. Oops. One there, one there. So take both those out. Those will pop out. One will go that way and one will go that way. Get those bolts out, and then you will be able to turn this and pull it out. So I'm going to pop those out and then see if we can resume here. So as you can see here, this is loose. Now what I'm going to do is basically turn that sideways, remove that out of there. Now as you do this, there's some more washers. Take this guy out. Okay, so here's our steering shaft, our spline shaft that comes up. Note the order of these. Sleeve, hard washer, one big rubber washer, looks like, another steel washer. Just take those off in order. I'll just go ahead and set these there like that so I can remember how they were in there. So now that your steering shaft is loose in here, it's ready to come out. Only thing holding that up is we're still hooked up to the steering rack. So all you'll need to do there is grab a 17mm wrench for the nut, and I think it's 15 for the head, and I just pull the steering rack, pull the wheels to where that bolt is sticking out to the passenger side, and I just get an impact on there, hold the wrench on the nut, pop that loose, pull that bolt out, and we'll pull that steering shaft out of there. So the bolt is out. You can see it. There we are. If this doesn't want to slide off, and they generally don't, that crack in the yoke there, you can put a large flat screwdriver in there or a chisel. You want a chisel just wider than the crack, or a pry bar that you can hammer on. Hammer it in a little ways to spread that yoke open, and then that will slide right up off of that shaft without much trouble. So when you've got it off of there, you can come over to this side and start working it up out of there. Yeah, comes right through that hole right by the foot feet there. Up through the dash. Come on. This is a lot easier to do with two hands. There it comes. Okay. So, you might think, oh, I just throw this over my shoulder. I'm never going to use it again. Hold on to it. In time, if you trade machines and you're feeling ambitious, you can take the power steering kit out and put the manual steering shaft back in. I have not done that, mainly because the models change too much, it seems like, but I think going forward, I will, like when that machine there is ready to be traded off, which will probably be next year. This one's got some engine problems right now, but when it goes to be traded off, I'll probably pull the power steering kit out and put it in the next one, save myself $650. So, steering shaft is out. Now we will need to assemble, get our brackets together, and if you've never done this before, the bracketry on this kit is not always perfect and how it lines up. I've had to make some adjustments, and I'll show you why and how, but I will get it ready to go. These three bolts in this little baggie, these three big guys, they're for your steering. They bolt up to this plate. The rest of these bolts are for bolting the bracket to the chassis under the dash. So here's the issue that I have with this kit. The bracketry is good. Sometimes there are issues with the correct angle when you go to bolt these two brackets together, however they go. I'll show you in a minute, but there's issues there. The biggest issue, and I don't know how much variance there is, between Rangers. Maybe everything's not welded exactly in the same place, or maybe these brackets don't get bent exactly the same way. But the biggest problem is the old Ranger 800 kits had two shafts. The lower shaft had two U-joints on it. And now, thanks to, every time we save a part, we save $5 and that goes in somebody's pocket. They are relying on this shaft to stay straight. That goes down to steering rack there. That goes on there. If this yoke here, where it splines on, has any wobble in it, the way it's welded on there, when you turn the wheel, there will be a slight wobble in the shaft. You will probably be able to see it under the dash when you turn the wheel after this is all assembled. You may feel it in your steering wheel when you go to turn it. If you don't feel it and you don't see it, you probably have a straight one. But what will happen, and I'm not saying one with a wobble won't work, especially when the power steering's turned on, engine's running, You won't really feel it. The problem, what will happen is if it's not straight, the wobble will eventually wear the splines inside of here, not on here, not on that hardened shaft, but it'll wear them in this yoke, and it will get to a point where it will jump. It will wear the splines enough to where you go to turn the wheel one day on a hard corner or something, you'll feel it jump in there, and it will get worse. So when I assemble these now, I put some red Loctite on the splines. I put red Loctite on this bolt threads. And when I tighten it up, when I get everything the way I want it, I get it good and tight. I don't want this loosening up. And that has helped. But I have on, let's see, 4 of these Ranger 570s now. I have changed one machine. I have changed 2 of those shafts. And I think I changed a shaft on another machine. One machine I have had a straight shaft right out of the box. It's never given me any trouble. These are warranted for 1 year from Super ATV. After that, it's at your own expense, but they will sell you just this part, I think 60 or 70 bucks. I'm going to get the rest of this in the Ranger here, kind of bolted loosely in place so you can see what it looks like and what to look for. We'll go from there.